Hey everyone, welcome to another video on my channel. I hope all of you are doing well. So today's video is going to be really important because if you actually remember, a couple of weeks back we had made a video about taxation being increased for F&O. But today SEBI has actually taken one more step. So they are actually proposing one more step to increase the contract value from 5 lakh to 20 or 30 lakh for the option contracts to discourage retail trading. So in this video, I will try to discuss about how exactly this is going to affect the overall option market, and I'm also going to share my opinion. So what are my thoughts on the same? So to be honest, I'm actually happy with this decision. So I will also tell you why. So I feel this decision is actually a right way to curb the problem. So unlike increasing the taxation, increasing STT or doing whatnot, right? So this is a much better way of discouraging people from coming into option market. So this video is going to be totally data driven, so I'm not going to make any claims without showing you the data. So I hope you enjoy this video, and let's quickly get started. So before moving on, there are a couple of things which I usually ask you to do. One is hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And the second one is a shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is First Stock. So I have attached the link in the description to open a free First Stock account where you get 2000 rupees worth free brokerage credits. So in case if you are looking for some advanced trading platform, so they are launching their new trading platform in next 1 or 2 months, and it is really good, and you can get early access to that and also 2000 rupees worth free brokerage by opening the account today using the link in the description. With this, let's quickly move on to the video. So as you can see the headlines from LiveMint, SEBI committee proposes stricter measures to curb derivative volumes, raises lot size to 20 to 30 lakh. So this is a proposed measure. So currently you can see the lot size value is around 5 lakh. So what does this actually mean, right? So let me just open a quick Excel sheet to give you a better understanding. So right over here, if you see, so the current value is around 5 lakh. So every time they revise the lot size, they are going to revise it in a way where the base value is going to come to 5 lakh. So what does this mean? So if you currently look at the price of Nifty, it is around 24,000, and they have changed the lot size from 50 to 25. So now if I go one lot short in Nifty, my notional value is going to be 6 lakh, 25 into 24,000. So when they actually reset it, Nifty was around 21, 22,000, which was coming around 5 lakh. So similarly, Bank Nifty lot size is now 15. So when they had initially done it, it was close to around 41, 42,000 when the lot size was changed, right? So currently Bank Nifty is around 50 to 53,000, and when I multiply it with the lot, so it is coming to around 7.5 lakh. So every time they reset it, so after a while they are going to reset the whole thing and they are going to bring it back to 5 lakh. So now if the minimum is made to around 30 lakh, right? So what is going to happen is Nifty's lot size, it's straight away going to increase from 25 to something like 125. That is 5 times higher, right? So instead of trading with 25 lot size, people should start trading with 125 lot size. So automatically what this does is it will start to increase the margin. For example, if I come to Zerodha's margin calculator and add a lot of Nifty, right? So you can see the total margin required is around 70,000. But just imagine if the same margin increases by 5 or 6 times. So that is the bare minimum lot way you can go. So that means instead of 70,000, you should start paying 3.5 to 4 lakh rupees to enter one quantity or one lot in Nifty. So the margin requirement is going to shoot up quite a lot. So even if you're an option buyer, you have no longer option to buy, let's say a 25 quantity or 50 quantity. You should buy minimum of 125 quantity, which again increases your total capital. The capital requirement to buy that will go up, right? So is this a measure? So if you take a look at the whole measure, right? So is it good or bad? So in my opinion, this measure is actually favorable, and the reason is pretty simple. So let me just show you the reason why that is the case. So when you take a look at NSE data, right? So this is data from NSE as of 2023 end. So currently we are in 2024, where the volumes have further increased. So from end of 2023 till today, the volumes have actually shot up, right? So assuming that we go back 6 months, right? So you can see that almost around 20% of the total traders, right? 20% of the total participants in the market. So what was recorded in November? So we had close to around 37 lakh unique investors, and in that 20% had a capital of less than 10,000 rupees, right? So you can see the skew right over here, and 26% of people, right, had a capital of less than 1 lakh rupees for trading, and 32% of people had a capital of less than 10 lakh rupees, and 17% of the people had a capital of less than 1 CR, right? Let's leave this and start to focus on only the top two, right? So you can see, if you take a look at the top two categories, right, it accounts to around 46% of the total market participants. That means out of this 37 lakh, close to around 18.5 lakh people, or close to around 18 lakh people actually fall under this category where they have less than 1 lakh capital for trading. Right? So here what usually ends up happening is, when you come with anything less than 1 lakh, the overall math of trading doesn't work out. Why that is the case? Let us say, generally it is proven that if you are trading with less than 1 lakh capital, or sometimes even less than 2 to 3 lakh capital, more than 50% of your gross profit, assuming that you are making somewhere around 30% a year or 50% a year, more than 50% of your gross profit is simply going to go with other charges and brokerage, right? So just to give you a simple example, let me open Excel again, right? So here I'll just show you what exactly will happen. So let us assume there is a person with a capital of 1 lakh. Then there is one more person with a capital of, say, 5 lakh. So another person with a capital of 10 lakh, and another person with a capital of 1 crore, right? So here what ends up happening is, assuming that all of them will actually end up making 30%, right? So here he ends up making 30,000 returns. So here he ends up making 1,50,000 returns. Here he will end up making 3 lakh, and this person will end up making 30 lakh, right? So generally what happens is, when this is the skew, right? So this is the total returns what they have made. So when this is the skew, there is a tendency that the person with 1 lakh proportionally would have paid way more charges compared to a person of 1 CR. So now let's assume a scenario where a single trader has punched an average of 4 orders per day. So he has traded all the trading days, he has punched 4 orders per day. So what will this leave us with? 4 into 20 into, so I haven't even added other charges, right? 20 into 250 trading days. So he will end up paying 20,000 rupees as the overall cost, right? So this person who is punching 4 orders per day with 5 lakh capital might pay 20,000 and little more, let's say with the transaction charges and all of that. So he might end up paying somewhere around 35,000 rupees. So this person with 10 lakh might end up paying somewhere around 60,000 rupees, and this person with 1 CR might end up paying, say, around 1 lakh 20,000 or 1,50,000 rupees, right? So this will be the skew of the total charges. If somebody is punching only 4 orders per day, this will be the total skew. So what is the overall returns they are left with? Let us try to find out. So this is the gross returns, this is the charges, and let's see the net returns, right? So here I'm just going to do a simple formula, and you can see right over here, more than 50% of the person who is trading with 1 lakh or lesser capital is going to go away in charges. Almost 66% is going to go away in charges. So now let us try to see what happens if there is a net loss, right? So I'll make the same gross returns negative. So instead of positive, let's assume it's negative, right? So what I'm going to do is say gross loss. It is, I'm simply going to do into -1, right? So these are the gross loss. So now the charges is going to be the same. The charges are not going to differ in any way, and I'm going to add it up. And you see the net returns is going to be minus 50,000, minus 1,85,000, and minus 3,60,000, and minus 31 lakh. So why is this going to make such a big difference? So if somebody is having gross positive returns and gross loss, right? So why is it going to make so much of a difference if he's trading with a different capital? The simple reason is you see the risk to reward. So I am not even coming to the taxes part. I'm just talking about purely on the basis of gross profit, gross loss, and then net profit. So the reason is whenever you make a profit, you would have paid a 30% tax, but when you make a loss, you get back nothing. So here, this person, if he is making 30% per annum, he is playing with a risk to reward of 1:5. So his risk, or RR what we call it, is 5 and his reward is 1. So why? Because when he makes 30,000, he is actually getting only 10,000 rupees, but when he is actually losing, he is getting almost close to around. So the reason is whenever he is making returns of 30%, he is only getting 10% or 10,000 rupees. But whenever he is losing close to around 50% or 50,000 rupees of overall loss. So the risk to reward is almost 1:5. So now let's come to this guy. Let's try to understand how much he is making. So now you can see that if the same thing or same 30% is actually achieved by the person with a capital of 5 lakh, his risk to reward automatically comes to 1:1.6. But the same is achieved by a person with 1 CR. His automatically the risk to reward comes to 1:1.1, right? So you can see that even though it's on the negative side, the skew has actually been reduced to a great extent. So if he is able to make profit with, let's say, a probability of 55-60%, that is more than enough for him to actually end up coming into profit. So the chances of him entering into profit will drastically improve just if he ends up maintaining a good risk to reward. That is only possible if you're trading with a larger capital and paying proportionally lesser cost, right? So here you can see close to around 16-17 lakh investors, 46% of the share. It is very hard for them to end up in a net profit trading for a long period or extended period of time, because the skew is completely against them and it is not going, the math is not going to add up, and most likely they will end up losing their money. So that's the reason all of them, mostly all of them, are here not to stay for long term. The only reason why they are trading is to make quick money. And when the entire ecosystem is of a zero-sum game, they are not going to make quick money, rather they are going to lose it all. The second disadvantage of people coming with lesser capital is, so the thing is, every time you lose 10,000, so you can risk the 10,000 the way you want, because you know that, okay, I will work again, I'll get back that 10,000, again I'm going to gamble. I'm going to ask my friend 10,000 because he can easily lend me 10,000, so I'm going to gamble. So you will start to borrow 10,000, you will start to put all your savings 10,000 and take higher risk because you know that you can get back the 10,000. But if you are trading with a crore, right? So your friend is not going to lend you a crore so easily. Neither you are going to go work and get that 1 crore so easily. So you will be always prudent when you are trading with a larger capital. So you might be asking that, okay, your case also, you started with such a low capital, then you came up, right? So why are you discouraging the whole thing now? The thing is, more than 99% of the people lose money. So in my case, it might be pure survivorship bias and pure luck. So that time leverage was there. So even though with 50,000, 20,000, we were trading with 30x leverage, which was equivalent to 7.5 lakh to 15 lakh. So that was there. So which is again a pure lucky phase for us, I would say, and a pure case of survivorship bias. So there might be 100 people like us who might have actually gone bust trading options, but somehow luckily we were able to survive and come up, right? So majority what happens is these are the people who are in desperate to make more money. So they want more money, they are very desperate. So these are the people who will end up losing all their savings, right? So a person who is having 1 CR, 10 CR and above, right? So he is very prudent with the money. So he is not going to simply waste or risk all of it. But a person who is having less than 10,000 is likely to risk everything and likely to gamble and likely to lose everything, right? So that's the reason by maybe increasing, it will discourage most of the traders at least, right? Because the initial capital required is going to go up so high, it is going to discourage them from coming into the markets or trading very actively. And you can see the skew in the volume, right? So you can see right over here, only 0.2% of market participants, just 0.2% of market participants is creating a total premium value or total share in turnover of 71%, right? So here you can see how negligible the entire share of close to around, this will add up to close to around 75 to 80% of the people. So this 75 to 80% of the people create just around 2.5% of the total turnover. That means they are simply punching orders, they are buying, selling, not making money, creating no turnover in the market. So you can see that clearly the whole market is controlled by just the 0.2% of the people who are creating 71% of the turnover. The skew is totally tilted on the other side. So that is just 7,600 unique participants. It can be corporates, it can be different participants are controlling 71% of the market, whereas remaining close to around 30 plus lakh people are unable to control even 2.5% of the overall market. So the data is totally skewed, totally tilted towards the other hand. So that's the reason. So retailers, especially in a zero-sum game where things are getting very difficult, there is institutions, there is big money coming in, right? So they don't actually have an advantage because of the charges they are paying. So the risk to reward is again totally tilted. So every time they are making 30,000 rupees, right? So let's say next year they lose 30,000 rupees, they have to get continuous 30% for 5 years, and 1 year if they end up losing say 30%, they will blow up the whole thing because of the charges they would have paid. So that's the reason, in my opinion. So this is actually going to be a welcome step, a right step in the right direction, instead of simply increasing the taxes and all of that, right? So if you ask me today what would be an ideal amount to trade, so I would actually tell you to come in this category, that is 1 million to 10 million, that is 10 lakh to 1 CR amount. So you can see that there are substantial share of investors, around 20% of investors creating around 10% of volume. So this is where you have some decent advantage of making money, that is if you're trading with more than 10 lakh. So you can actually leverage the advantage of making money by trading at this particular range. So in my opinion, even if you're trading with say 5 lakh, 6 lakh, that is fine. So slowly try to come towards this category where you can leverage the benefit of risk to reward. So what you can see is if you can come from 1 lakh to 10 lakh, your risk to reward when you make 30% return is straight away going to come from 5 to 1.5. So your total risk is going to drop this way and give you a significant advantage. So the only thing what people should stop doing is, just because the increase in the contract value or increase in the lot size, they should stop going and buying far OTM options, which will lead to further losses. The only alternative they will be left with is go buy far OTM because they will be cheaper, and that is the only way how they can actually end up purchasing options, right? So this is the overall scenario, and this is, in my opinion, the right step. So let me know what you think in the comments below. With this, we also come to the end of today's video. So in today's video, I just tried to make you understand how this new proposed rule by SEBI can bring a change in the market, can impact the retail investor with capital less than 1 lakh or 10,000 rupees. I hope you have liked this video. If so, make sure you hit the like button, share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.